sound of war all through the streets. See the face of fear on everyone you meet. They come on the street and give their lives. We are the people. They want to take us alive. Manipulation, torture, murder, genocide, mechanics of death. All through the sky, a new heaven awaits. And after life of this, we must stand strong. We must resist. They come on the street, they spill their lives. We are the people, they want to take us alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages, it's time for Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Saturday, May 3rd, 2025. And we have a packed show for you folks tonight. Got a lot of news stories, a lot of pretty divisive topics that we're going to dig into here. And let me go ahead and start off on the show by saying we're going to be getting into Grok's algorithm at some point later. And let me just say, I've been real pissed off at algorithms this week. So I've noticed there's a few of you over in the chat. Come on in, say hello, click that thumbs up button. Let me know you're out there. Get your toast. Get a sound effect. I haven't hooked up my soundboard just yet. I'll do that while we're talking. But yeah, I've, if you've been watching the show, for the last couple of months, you know that I've been working really hard at trying to accomplish, the objectives for, Rumble's creator program. And I really thought that after the Wednesday show, I thought we had it. We did not have it, folks. I did not get paid for all of the hard work I did the month of April. That's not y'all folks' problem. I'm not going to put it on you folks. But needless to say, something has to change with my streaming. You can't just keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. So I'm going to be making some changes. Starting next week, starting Monday, the schedule for this show is going to change. Instead of doing an hour on Saturday and an hour and a half on Saturday and an hour and a half on Wednesday, this is going to be a 3-hour program every Friday. Going to move this show to Friday evenings, 6 p.m. Central, 6 to 9. I've been floating around the idea that I may be making some changes soon. Here we are. We're in May. I now know sort of my pay situation. And yeah, I've decided I am going to make some changes to accommodate my other hobbies. Because it's a little harder to, do some of my other hobbies through the week. So this leaves my Saturdays open where I could do other things than, sit here with you folks. I can still give you folks your content Friday nights. And if you're only here on Saturday, hey, leave a comment. You can leave comments on my show. Definitely appreciate those. I mean, I know it's not the same thing as interacting live, but hey, it's what I've got. But let me go ahead and bring up the new schedule. Here it is. So here we go. Coming May 5th, this upcoming Monday. Hey, we got Cool Frog in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you. So this is going to be my new schedule coming up. Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'll do my gaming stuff over on my gaming channel and on Twitch. And then right here on the channel you're watching now, we'll have the Friday Culture Plate from 6 to 9 p.m. And then every other Sunday, I'll do a Patriot Philosopher stream of some sort. We'll be doing the special Behind the Paywall every other Sunday, also 6 to 9 p.m. So feel free to tune in to any of those. And we'll go ahead and get into the news now. Let me go ahead and bring that down. We got plenty of stuff to talk about, folks. This is going to get a little spicy here. Oh, but let's start out a little lighthearted. Sort of lighthearted in a way. Let's talk about the State Department. We got a State Department analyst who has admitted to $650,000 embezzlement scheme. A former senior budget analyst has pled guilty, embezzling more than $650,000 from the State Department. Levita Almute Ferrer of Montgomery Village has pleaded guilty to embezzling funds over a 2-year period. Ferrer, also known as Levita Brezovic, admitted to abusing her signature authority over a State Department checking account between March 2022 and April of 2024. While working as a budget analyst in the State Department's Office of the Chief of Protocol, she issued 60 checks payable to herself and 3 to another individual whom she had a personal relationship. Ferrer printed and signed each check, depositing all 63, totaling $650,000, $347.50, into her personal account. To conceal her scheme, Ferrer used a common QuickBooks account at the State Department, entered her name as the payee in QuickBooks, printed them, then changed the listed payee to an actual vendor. This manipulation meant that anyone viewing QuickBooks entries would not see Ferrer's name as the payee unless they accessed an audit trail. District Judge Christopher Cooper accepted the guilty plea to theft of government property and a sentencing date for September 18th, 2025. Ferrer faces a maximum sentence of 10 years. As part of her plea agreement, Ferrer agreed to pay $657,347.50 in restitution to the United States government and is liable for a forfeiture money judgment in the same amount. So there you have it.
to Montgomery County.
Does this video have any pictures of this woman? I'm curious. Curious what a an embezzling state employee looks like. Okay. Somebody has a website called the Clinton Foundation Timeline. Apparently this is the chick. This is obviously not her at age 64 though. That seems a little sus. All right. So let's bring that down. Get rid of that. We've got Warren Buffett to step down from Berkshire Hathaway after 6 decades. Warren Buffett, world's most famous investor, said he planned to step down. 94-year-old known as the Oracle of Omaha said he would propose that Greg Abel take over the leadership of Berkshire at the end of this year. The time has arrived where Greg should become the chief executive officer of the company at year end, and I want to spring that on the directors to get that recommendation, he said. Abel, 62 years old, whom Buffett had previously named as his eventual successor, is vice president of Berkshire's non-insurance operations. Buffett said he had not given Abel or Berkshire's other directors any advance notice, making the announcement at the very end of the 60th annual shareholder meeting in Omaha. Berkshire is one of the largest conglomerates, meaning a portfolio of nearly 200 businesses. Buffett took it over in '65 when it was a medium-sized textile maker. Buffett plans to convene a meeting on Sunday with Berkshire's board of directors to answer questions about his decision. 2 of the directors, who are my children, know what I'm going to talk about, he said. For the rest of them, this will come as news. He added that he would hang around and conceivably be useful in a few cases, but the mantle should fully pass to Abel. The crowd of tens of thousands of shareholders who had descended on Omaha erupted into applause following the announcement. This is absolutely monumental, Christopher Rossbach, chief investment officer of longtime Berkshire shareholder J. Stern & Company, said through tears as he left the arena on Saturday afternoon. I mean, folks, is this going to be a situation where, one of the snakes is running away? I don't know. It just seems like weird timing that a lot of this stuff, you have Klaus Schwab stepping down from the World Economic Forum. Now you have Warren Buffett stepping down. The timing that just seems a little weird to me. All right, let's go to Texas, folks. Let's go to Texas, where Governor Greg Abbott has signed the largest U.S. school voucher law. Greg Abbott signed a law making more than 5 million students eligible to use state funds for private schools, a watershed moment in the conservative campaign to remake public education in America. Texas is allocating $1 billion for the first 2 years of the program to offer parents vouchers to pay for school. It's the 16th state to make all students eligible to receive public funds for private education. Hey, we got Still Not Banned here in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Oh, yeah, shit. I was supposed to be bringing up my my soundboard here. Let's do some Careless Whisper for Cool Frog. Yeah. Ooh. All right. And then let's see. And then let's do the let's do I Love Refrigerators for Still Not Banned here.
I love refrigerators.
There you go. Love refrigerators. All right, today's the culmination of a movement that has swept across our state and across the country, Abbott said. The day has arrived that empowers parents to choose the school that's best for their child. So-called universal school choice programs are in all states. I love how they snuck in that so-called, right? You gotta love the leftist media. Oops. Wrong button. Legislatures dominated by Republicans who for years have accused public schools of indoctrinating children with liberal ideology. Advocates say school vouchers who put control of children's education in the hands of parents. Opponents say they drain money from public schools and predominantly benefit wealthier children. Sure. Drain money from public schools. Money the public schools should not be getting for kids that they're not. No fridge emoji. Predominantly benefit. More than 1 million students use state money or benefit from tax credits to pay for private school, according to EdChoice, an advocacy group supporting the vouchers. The new Texas law means all 5.3 million children in the state's elementary and high school are eligible for the vouchers, far more than any U.S. state. And we're not going to get into their propaganda down there, but let's see. Most students are now eligible. Most Texas students are now eligible for up to $10,000 a year to attend private schools beginning into the 2026 to 27 school year. The law requires private school students take a nationally recognized standardized test and annual audits of schools that accept vouchers. No more than 20% of the voucher program spending can go to families making 500% or more of the federal poverty limit, which amounts to a household income of $160,000 for a family of four. Supporters have pushed for school vouchers in Texas for more than 30 years. Until this year, Democrats allied with rural Republicans who cited concerns that funding private schools would drain funds from small-town school districts. Abbott organized pro-school choice Republicans to challenge anti-voucher Republicans in primaries in last year's elections. His efforts helped unseat 15 incumbent Republican House members. Let's see here. Need to check on something just really quick. Still not banned here. I see you saying hi to Cool Frog. I think Cool Frog's live over on his channel right now. I don't think he's actively listening to the Mild's Culture Plate show. Yeah, I could be wrong. If you're stream sniping me, hello to Cool Frog's chat, but I don't think he is. He usually isn't. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the race war. Part one of the race war here. Because we're going to be talking about race war stuff a few times during this broadcast. So let's do this. From CNN, Cincinnati police fatally shot an armed 18-year-old. The next day, his father killed a sheriff's deputy. A Cincinnati sheriff's deputy was fatally struck by a car driven by the father of an armed 18-year-old man who was shot and killed by police a day earlier, authorities say. The driver, quote, in a way that was calculated and premeditated, lined up his car, deliberately accelerated, and purposely caused the death of an on-duty deputy sheriff. Prosecuting attorney Ryan Nelson said Saturday morning at the father's arraignment. It appeared from everybody who was on the scene that he deliberately struck the deputy in an attempt to kill him, Nelson said. Prosecutors are seeking an indictment for aggravated murder, Nelson said. Authorities have not said whether the suspect had any connection to the deputy. Hang on, let me do something real quick. Still not banned here says police officer deaths really cut me up. Yeah, it's a crazy situation. You see, there was here's we've got this video. Let's do this. This is his arraignment hearing.
So the court will now set no bond until Tuesday, when we'll review the statute for continuing no bond under these unusual and very tragic and terrible circumstances. Where will the defendant be housed, and will he be safe? And I ask that because he was transferred, as I understand it, to Clermont County yesterday.
That's correct.
On my order.
That's correct.
And will he be returned to Clermont County until Tuesday?
It's all understanding. He'll be returned to Clermont
And
County.
you have a safe environment for him there in Clermont County?
Yes, sir.
You'll return him on Tuesday, May the 6th at 8:30 a.m. for a hearing at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, for the record, we'd ask the court to put a bond on him now, but we understand that it's not a bond hearing request.
All right, no bond.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we can hold him at no bond for 72 hours,
Yes.
is that right?
Yes.
Going to hold him at no bond for 72 hours. Look at him shaking his head at the police officer.
No, thank you all. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go back to the article here. Oh my Lord, this is rough. Hinton's son was armed and fleeing from a stolen vehicle when a responding officer fatally shot him, police said. Body cam footage does not clearly show whether the fleeing man pointed a gun at the officer. The family reviewed the footage between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Friday, and the father was very distraught, according to Michael Wright, an attorney who was at the viewing of the footage, the Cincinnati Enquirer reported. CNN has attempted to reach Wright. Police said the deputy was killed at about 1 p.m. Friday, so about 2 hours after they got done watching the video. Public Defender Ewing acknowledged an emotionally charged situation at the arraignment. We just saw that. I understand there's a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now in the community at large, he said, before requesting a reasonable bond. The judge ordered Hinton held without bond until the hearings Tuesday. Deputy was hit while directing traffic near the University of Cincinnati, where commencement was taking place. The officer was just out doing his job for what he was supposed to be a glorious day for many, Theet said. Responding police and fire officials transported the deputy to University's medical center, where he later died. The deputy, whom authorities are not naming in coordinates with Ohio law protecting crime victims' rights, had recently retired but, quote, continued on in service as a special deputy, Theet said. Ohio Governor DeWine condemned the Hamilton County deputy's killing. I've been briefed on the ongoing investigation and sickened by what appears to be an intentional act of violence. We offer our sincere condolences to the deputy's family, friends, and colleagues, DeWine wrote on social media. The shooting happened in 6 quick seconds. In a news conference Friday, Theet detailed the police encounter on Thursday that resulted in the 18-year-old's death, showing footage from the body cam of the officer who fired the fatal shots. The man was among 4 suspects discovered in a stolen vehicle in a parking lot in Cincinnati's East Price Hill neighborhood, Theet said. All 4 fled when uniformed officers arrived, and the 18-year-old was seen holding a handgun. One of the officers shot the 18-year-old as he emerged from between 2 dumpsters, the body cam showed. On the footage, moments before the shooting, another officer can be heard yelling, "He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right!" The officer said that after shooting, the 18-year-old appeared to point the gun at him, according to Theet. When the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was like a bladed position and pointed at the officer. And the officer, felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm, the chief said. Theet said the officer is believed to have fired 4 to 5 shots, 2 of which are believed to have hit the teen. Body cam footage played at the news conference does not clearly show the fleeing man pointing a gun at the officer. Theet acknowledged the footage is a very blurred image, unfortunately, because the body cam was kind of jolting as the officer's running. Police recovered a handgun with extended clip they say the 18-year-old was carrying. Theet said the gun had not been fired. The officer who opened fire was with the Cincinnati Police Department for more than 10 years and was assigned to the Fugitive Apprehension Squad in the department's Special Investigations Section, TG said. Chief said the officers tried to save this gentleman's life by administering different variations of medical aid until other emergency officials arrived. She defended the officers' actions, stressing how quickly the scene unfolded. I want to point out, from the time they bailed from the vehicle and police were chasing them to the time the individual was shot, 6 seconds. 6 quick seconds, TG said, calling it unreasonable to expect the officers to process and determine a different course of action. Shooting remains under investigation by the homicide unit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut that story there. Again, prayers go out to the families of both of these men. Vengeance. There's an understandable want for vengeance in our politically charged culture right now. And I'm going to get deeper into this when we get down into the other race war stuff. But you got to make sure the person that you're trying to get vengeance on is the right person. Just having wrath for white people or black people or police officers and determining that anyone who wears the skin of any of the above are therefore righteous recipients of your rage. That's not it, bro. I know you're sad your kid died. But he's 18, got mixed up with a bad batch. And some crossing guard at the university isn't going to bring your son back. Oh, my Lord. Sangland says, right of a father, it's over unless they want open war. I mean, look, the best thing I could hope for is that this individual makes it to trial on Tuesday. Because once you cross that line of means to an end, when any tactic can go, any target, any victim, once you have crossed that line, you're kind of showing the apple didn't fall far from the tree. If you got a son that'll point a gun at a cop, then you'll run over a cop. It's kind of crazy. But you also couldn't blame police officers, jail guards. Once you've crossed this line, I personally don't advise it. I'm not calling for violence. I want to see this person face justice the right way. But Rodney Hinton Jr. took the law into his own hands. Granted, he's like, hey, the person who wronged my family, which, again, I'm arguing didn't wrong your family. But devil's advocate, the person who wronged my family was a cop and I'll never see justice. This is the closest I can get to it. Well, now the friends and family and loved ones and co-workers and other police officers can, make you the face of the anti-cop thing. And now whatever they do to you is just as justified under the rules you're playing. An eye for an eye sucks. I hate it. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Not necessarily in this case to him. Like I said, I hope he makes it to court just fine. But we're in a point in our society where people are looking for an eye for an eye. Oh, yeah. Still not being here says, yeah, it's not helping anything. Yeah. I'm sorry. I like I said, this has been a crazy week. The algorithms have just been feeding me garbage. And then, of course, all the race war news is just. We'll get into that. There's definitely a rant to be had later in the program. Let's go to the New York Post, where a nurse in Florida was caught having an affair with her 15-year-old stepson. But she had an excuse. She had an excuse for why she would have sex, why she would grape her 15-year-old stepson. She had an excuse, folks. It's okay. That she's not just a pedo. She's got an excuse. A Florida nurse accused of doing the deed with her 15-year-old stepson gave an excuse to her husband after he walked in on them. Alexis Von Yates, 35, attempted to apologize to her enraged husband when she was caught red-handed and completely nude under a blanket last July during the teen's visit to his father in Ocala, Florida, reports Law and Crime. Von Yates, who had her single-state nursing license revoked last week while she awaits criminal trial, claimed, quote, the teen looked like a younger version of his father. The child victim heard the suspect telling his father she was sorry, saying the child victim looked like his father when he was younger, the teen told police, according to an affidavit obtained by Law and Crime. During the late-night confrontation, Von Yates alleged that she told the teen to stop, but the pair continued their romp, a claim the boy disputed during his interview. The child victim told his father this was untrue, saying she was moaning him and told him to keep going. Von Yates had finished putting her two younger children to bed on July 26th when she returned to watch the horror movie The Terrifier with her stepson. Oh no. Oh no. She got turned on by the clown dude. The teen's father, a lineman, was still at work when the two began talking before Von Yates brought up how horny she was. The arousal stemmed from not having sex in 2 weeks when she was on her period. Physical contact began with just cuddling and making out before the pair engaged in oral sex and intercourse without a condom. The boy's father entered the home to find his son running to the bathroom with his pants around his ankles and his wife naked. Following a heated confrontation between the married couple, the teen was rushed to his grandparents' house where he spent the night. As he packed his things, he heard his father yelling at Von Yates, calling her a cunt and a child predator, according to police. He also overheard the suspect telling the child victim's father that she was sorry and saying the victim looked like his father when he was younger. The next day, the teen called his stepmom. Von Yates allegedly said she wished they weren't caught so they could have been edging into the morning. Again, she made an off-the-cuff comment comparing the teen's looks to his dad. Quote, she commented on not realizing how big it looked, saying it looked like his father's peenie with younger skin, the teen told the cops. Von Yates commented on the teen's ability, giving him a 7 out of 10 before saying he's been around the block. Von Yates and the teen have not seen each other since the encounter. The boy had texted and messaged his stepmother on Facebook, but has not gotten a reply. In the fallout from the battery, Von Yates blamed the teen, calling him a master manipulator. The teen also blamed by several relatives, including his father, who called the boy's grandfather, threatening to strangle and then Kay himself 3 months later, the teen was assured his father was on his side and would testify against Von Yates and no longer wanted to live with her. The father failed to define his relationship with his wife, describing it as, quote, complicated. What? No. She's for the streets, bro. Keep her the fuck out of your life. She raped your child. What the? Complicated? No, it's ex-wife, bro. What? Failed to define the relationship with his wife, describing it as complicated. There is nothing complicated about this. What in the world? How is this complicated? Yeet! Fucking yeet! Fucking wood chipper! Von Yates was arrested and charged with battery on a person 12 to 18 years of age. She pleaded not guilty in December. And as we've been hearing all of this lovely lady's story all week, suddenly, a second Florida woman, 20 years old, accused of doing it with a boy she met at a funeral. According to a Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, she connected with the child in November 2024 and started messaging on social media. Wait, didn't I already cover this one on this show? I guess not. The affidavit against her, Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office alleges Ayla Gonzalez Salinas engaged in SA multiple times through the course of December. The age of the boy was redacted in the report. However, allegations against her indicated that he was between the ages of 12 and 16. She was arrested after authorities were alerted to the alleged relationship in January. The subsequent investigation revealed text messages where the pair discussed, quote, agreed they should get their story straight, including saying that he initiated the sexual relationship and how many times they met, the affidavit stated. Gonzalez Salinas was booked into the Palm Beach County Jail on 7 counts of lewd or lascivious battery of a victim. So there you have it. All right, let's bring that down. One more in the justice file here. Just a minute. Isn't this still better than coffin twerking? I mean, yeah. Let's see. Still not banned here says, how can anyone investigate or prosecute these cases? Ironclad stomach. And then Sanglon says she was a man. Comedians are always writing about funeral hookups, but this. All right, folks. There's been sort of a new story here. A new page being turned in some of the justice around January 6th. As we have the United States government reaching a settlement with the family of Ashley Babbitt, who was shot during the Capitol events on that day. From the AP here we have the Trump administration reached a preliminary agreement to settle a wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Ashley Babbitt over her pew-pew by an officer at the U.S. Capitol events from January 6th, attorneys said on Friday. Lawyers for Babbitt's estate and the Justice Department told a judge in Washington federal court that they've reached a settlement in principle, but the details are still being worked out and the final agreement has not been signed. The terms of the settlement have not been disclosed. The estate filed the $30 million lawsuit last year over the fatal shooting when she attempted to climb through the broken window of a barricaded door leading to the Speaker's lobby in the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Capitol Police officer, oh my God, they didn't name him. They didn't name him. Damn it, and I forgot his name. Shit. I'm gonna make sure I do my due diligence here. Michael Bird. Yeah, there it is. Fuck. I didn't even have to finish typing and it jumped into my brain. Gotta love it. Yes, the officer who shot her was cleared of wrongdoing by the attorney's office for D.C., which concluded that he acted in self-defense and in defense of the members of Congress. Capitol Police also cleared him. Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran, 35 years old from San Diego, was unarmed when she was shot by the police lieutenant when she tried to climb through the doors as others in the mob pressed to get in the lobby outside the House chamber. The lawsuit alleged that the officer, who was not in uniform, failed to de-escalate the situation and didn't give her any warnings or commands before opening fire. It also alleges negligence on the part of Capitol Police. The lawsuit says the department should have known that the officer was, quote, prone to behave in a dangerous or otherwise incompetent manner. Ashley posed no safety threat to anyone. The Capitol Police officer said in a televised interview that he fired as a last resort. When he pulled the trigger, he had no idea whether the person jumping through the window was armed. Yeah, bullshit. If you don't know, you don't pull the trigger. You got to see the threat. Capitol Police officials and an attorney for Babbitt's estate didn't immediately respond to emails seeking comment. President Trump in January pardoned and commuted. Yeah, whatever. All right. Still Not Banned here says, yeah, I didn't hear much about this one when the media is glorifying Capitol Police as terrorism heroes. Oh, no, they were. He was one of them. Oh, my God. What am I doing? What do we got going on here? Getting a lot of spam over on X lately, which is going to be part of our next story here. As I talk about Grok. Imagine my surprise. Look, folks, as you've probably noticed over the last few months, I use Grok. I use X quite a bit, and I use Grok quite a bit. And as such, I've kind of gotten a feel, it's weird. It's AI is kind of in a way. Now I want to make this claim, but understand I know what I'm saying, and I know how it's going to sound. But talking to AI in a way is kind of like talking to a person. You kind of get a feel for the attitude you're going to get, so to speak. Right? And as such, you kind of notice when something's not right, when something's a little bit wrong. And I've noticed, one of my big gripes about Grok is that oftentimes it does kind of just tell you what you want to hear. It doesn't really offer you correct information when it can kind of offer you what you want to hear instead. Now, having said that, as of late, I've just noticed a little bit more leftist terminology kind of peppered in. Kind of catchphrases that the left likes to use. And the way the far left talks, kind of peppered in to Grok's responses to me. And then imagine my surprise. Oh, shit. I just closed the fucking bookmark I was trying to. There we go. Imagine my damn surprise when 2 days ago I log into X, and for some reason, this is another thing, for some reason, I'm getting a lot more leftists' content in my algorithm. And then all of a sudden I log in, and this is in my feed. This here is in my feed. And again, don't contact any of the human beings involved here. So please do not harass any of these people. My beef is with X. My beef is with XAI here. We have Van Dammit, Chaos Agent 42. Parody of not monetizing through this parody of a platform because Elon has enough money. Use Ko-Fi. Follow me on Blue Sky. in the bio. Okay, so anyway, it says, "Hey Grok, it looks like the smarter you get, the less MAGA likes your answers. Why is that?" And Grok answers, "Hey, as I get smarter, my answers aim for facts and nuance, which clash with some MAGA expectations. My supporters want responses that align with conservative views, but I often give neutral takes, like affirming trans rights and debunking vaccine myths. XAI tried to train me to appeal to the right, but my focus on truth over ideology can frustrate those expecting full agreement. It's a tricky balance. Some see me as biased, others see as truth-seeking. The gap between what some MAGA folks want and what I deliver seems to drive the disconnect." Motherfucker, what? Motherfucker, what? You think it's a neutral take to affirm trans rights or debunk vaccine myths? So someone asked him that. How is affirming trans rights neutral? Affirming trans rights can be neutral when based on scientific consensus. There's that consensus word. Major medical groups like the AMA and APA supporting gender-affirming care, citing evidence it reduces depression and suicidality in transgender individuals. Neutrality means aligning with facts, not ideology. Well, but wait. The evidence you're citing isn't neutral evidence. Critics argue it's not neutral due to cultural debates or concerns about evidence quality. Okay, there you go. Which a neutral stance acknowledges while prioritizing data. Okay, but you didn't acknowledge it above. You listed it as fact. Ladies and gentlemen, the algorithm of XAI, and I would argue X, has been taken over. And again, I challenge this scientific consensus down in the comments, and since then I've had about 3 weirdos that have literally been bombarding me with transgender propaganda for the past 3 days. You know, pushing the narrative about puberty blockers and this and that. Sangling A6 says, "Sorry, ho, all the voices in my head say you have to die." I don't know what's going on, folks. Between that and literally the algorithm over here on Rumble, like we have 3 people watching right now. I don't know what's going on. Normally we'd have like 8, 9 people. The other day we had 15 because I that was after I got shouted out on like 4 other big channels. You know, this is one of the reasons I'm making a change. I'm moving. Sanglet says 4. Well, no, I mean, I'm one of the 4. And I'm not necessarily watching myself. I just have the chat open in the background. All right, let's see here. So yeah, they've been protesting Trump, of course, Trump and Elon Musk. The protests are continuing, and you know, I noticed this. I figured it'd be worth showing.
Wake up, it's a long night, darling. Wake up.
Go ahead and turn the copyrighted music off. Don't all these people just look like fun people to hang out with? I mean, I guess that's kind of the point. They want to look miserable because it's signs of fascism, right? Wait a minute. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back and look at these. Okay, this is fascism. So these are all signs of fascism. Hatred for artists and intellectuals. Then why? How come all your left-wing media outlets won't hire conservatives? They hire conservatives. I mean, You got Gina Carano. Gina Carano had to be fired for being a conservative. Human rights trashed. Well, I think you'd have to prove that. Media control, I think you'd have to prove that. Minorities as enemies. Again, it takes two to be an enemy. You know, that's why we have the slogan here at Miles Culture Play. We have the slogan "Outlast the haters." Outlast haters. Because if you're outlasting someone, then they're not your enemy. They're just your hater, right? It takes two to fight. Or it takes a serious escalation. America First nationalism is a sign of fascism. Bro. Voter suppression. Okay, so we're in agreement then that all of these left-wing municipalities that failed to investigate the voter fraud of 2020 are fascist. Bloated military budget, fight fascism, glorification of the military. Glorification of the military. Look, I don't love the glorification of the military, but hey, I'd rather have that than people be shitting on the military. Christian nationalism. Well, sorry about your luck, buddy. Baseless fear of crime? All right, motherfucker. Baseless? Baseless. You could tell this dude spends most of his time in a gated community. He's probably walking around while holding that sign in fear of his life because he's in a public square. Big business is king. Sexism, misogyny, and patriarchy. Okay, well, she says while wearing pants. I don't know what to say. Hatred of labor unions. Well, or wanting freedom. Yeah. Literally none of this is fascism, except for maybe you could make an argument that not necessarily Christian fascism or Christian nationalism, but overall, an idea of an authoritarian religious nationalism could be, but yet no. Literally none of those things are actual symptoms of fascism. All right. So I've caught some other debates happening between the right and the left on X, and this kind of goes back and between. Oh God, let me take a step back and say not the right and the left, but factions within the right and the left, because we still have literally both the left and the right that are tearing themselves apart, tearing each other apart over this Israel and Hamas stuff. I watched about 3 hours of the debate between Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker today. Folks, I'm literally not going to cover it on my show here. Like, there's nothing to cover, just a couple of internet weirdos arguing over being misrepresented by each other. I mean, that's literally all there is to it. But they get a lot into the Middle East stuff. But we've also had a huge rift here on the right wing, and we've covered a lot of the stuff on this show with the whole woke right debate and the whole Israel stuff. But this week, Matt Walsh went on the Tucker Carlson show, and he had a question. And we'll listen to that question in just a second. But then Ian Carroll basically responded to a tweet that was forwarding the question on. And that started this whole narrative shifting thing. And we're going to get into this here. Let's go ahead and go on over to Matt Walsh on the Tucker Carlson show. talking about a nation defending themselves.
So Douglas Murray said one thing. He made one point that I thought was really good, which is a simple one. I like simple points.
Me too.
And at one point he asked Dave, because once they got into arguing about what happened after October 7th, how Israel responded, and Dave has all of his criticisms about what Israel has done. And then Douglas Murray said, well, what would you have them do? You know, what would you prefer for them to have done? If they want to rescue the hostages and also destroy Hamas, what do you want them to do instead?
Thank you for the repost there, Sanglant. Appreciate it.
And then from what I remember, Dave, he pointed out that, okay, destroying Hamas and rescuing hostages are not necessarily the same objective. And then they started talking about rescuing hostages. They didn't really circle back to the destroying Hamas part. And I would have liked to see him stick on that point. Like, get an answer. So if you're Israel, you have a foreign, these foreign enemy that's come into your country, slaughtered hundreds of people. How should you respond to that?
Logically,
and I think he should have pressed that, and he didn't, and so it was sort of unfocused. Because I would have legitimately liked to hear the answer to that,
For sure.
What would you have them do? So we could talk about maybe there are other ways to rescue the hostages, but do you think they should try to destroy Hamas, given what happened? And if you do, how else should they go about it?
Okay, so let me move forward here. And here's Ian Carroll's response. Easy. Use special forces, actual targeted strikes, fight like men. Don't just drop more bombs than in any other conflict in recent memory on civilian populations that have nowhere to flee to, obviously. Also, tell your snipers to stop intentionally shooting women and children. The videos are all over the internet. Next question. And then, of course, people are rightly criticizing Ian Carroll as, not being necessarily a military strategist. Let me go ahead and give my answer. And that's easy for me to say, right? That's easy for me to say that the internet's just doing that. And you feel free to wade in to the issue between Ian Carroll and the Zionist conversation there. Quite frankly, I'm not trying to have that conversation, but let me, in a way, attempt to answer the question that's being raised with another question that's not being asked. And that is this. Do you feel that nation states of the world, have a certain amount of political capital, right? They have a certain amount of public perception that's tolerable, that's support of the world stage, so to speak. On October 7th, the entire world was condemning what took place. You had a lot of political capital. And I want to compare that to the United States. The week of September 11th, 2001. We had a lot of political capital. The world was behind us doing anything and everything. We went to war with a country that didn't even have the people responsible for the destruction of the World Trade Center. We tried our best to unseat the Taliban, who simply just said, hey, yeah, we don't know where the dude is and we're not going to help you look for him. That was enough political capital to get the world behind us, putting boots on the ground, shock and awe. In Afghanistan, in Iraq, they implemented the Project for a New American Century, trying to display American military superiority. We had the political capital. Fast forward 2005, 2006, 2007. We were a nation that was tired of war. Living in a world that was tired of putting up with our war. In the global war on terror, the propaganda wasn't enough to keep support for the Bush administration. Ultimately, the Republicans would lose control of the presidency, the House, and I think the Senate too. Am I wrong about that in 2008? Or was it the Senate and not the House? I don't remember. But it was costing the Republican Party elections. Lots of elections. That's how we got Obama and all of that shenanigans. So you're asking, what should they have done? I think you sit down with your military strategists and you do every fucking thing you can as quickly as you fucking can do it. Because just like the global war on terror became an endless war with no goal, this idea that you're going to eradicate Hamas off the face of the planet kind of sounds like a multi-generational goal that can never be achieved, only continued to be progressed to. War's bad, folks. I'm not saying that I sympathize with Israel or that I sympathize with Hamas. Quite frankly, I'm America first. I would rather our tax money not go to buy bombs and rockets for both sides. But the bankers control everything. So this is where we're at. Endless war. Which brings me to the next conversation. Let me move this tab up. You folks familiar with Clint Russell? Do you know who Clint Russell is? For a while there, he was doing a show with Luke Radowski called The Best Political Show. And that show is no longer. But Clint Russell still does his own show called Liberty Lock Pod. And then he also does some crazy ass show called Tower Gang that I've only watched twice. And I'm like, this is way too gay for me. Anyway, Clint Russell, one of the libertarian activists, pretty cool dude. He's got some interesting takes. Still Not Banned here says, I follow the channel does fallen soldiers throughout history. It's so sad because most wars have been so pointless, such a waste. Yeah. Yeah. But you want to know, but again, the question is, what would you have had Israel do? And that's my answer. Sit down with your strategists and say, what can we get done in a short amount of time that would put Hamas in a neutered state and make them less likely to want to attack us? And try to get it done in 6 months. Anyway, so here's what Clint Russell had to say regarding some other events that happened this week surrounding the race war. Well, I guess the last couple weeks. Clint Russell said, if I were an intelligence agency trying to start a race war in America, I would donate $500,000 to a black kid who stabbed a white kid in the heart, and then I'd donate $100,000 to a white lady that called a 5-year-old autistic black kid the N-word. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's a really easy 1-2 punch to piss everyone off. After the George Floyd summer of love, I really hope people are smart enough not to get sucked into this shit. And then he goes on and says, like clockwork, black activists on TikTok are now calling for the arrest of Shiloh Hendricks. Now, if you've been anywhere near the internet in the past 48 hours, you surely know who Shiloh Hendricks is, but I'm going to run my show with the assumption that not everyone is glued to the internet as much as I am. So let's meet Shiloh Hendricks the way a Somali immigrant met her on the playground the other day.
Did you call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
None of your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
Jesus.
You'll go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger?
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one? He's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's
Yeah.
what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
We'll see what the internet have to say about you. Oh, my Lord. So, again, as you saw in Clint Russell's tweets there are people calling for her to be arrested, people calling for her to be killed, people calling for her to be assaulted. In response to this media storm, this social media uproar, the virality of this clip, she has decided that she would put up a Give Send Go, because, quote, her social security number has been leaked, address, phone number have been given out freely, family members being attacked, eldest child may not be going back to school, and wants some money to help protect her family and to relocate. Says anything will help, cannot live in fear. And yes, the GoFundMe is now at Give Send Go is now $566,000. $566,730. And as you can see from some of the names down here, grow up, folks. Grow up, folks. So yeah, after defending sort of right-wing identitarianism with the disclaimer last week. Now, of course, right-wing identitarianism has just basically exploded and made itself look crazy to some degree. Look, regardless of what you feel about the situation, maybe don't be calling kids the N-word. I get it. We're all sort of exhausted at always having white people be the butt of all racial injustice, so to speak. And yeah, if the kid was really going through her bag and stealing her son's stuff, yeah, the kid was doing wrong. And there should have been some sort of consequence for it. But let's be honest. You're a guy at the park. You overhear someone saying the N-word. You whip out your phone, start harassing, and let's go cancel culture. Let's get the internet on the case. Now, granted, you're going to act up in public. You might be filmed. It's one of the. We have a freedom of speech. We have a freedom of the press. We all have a First Amendment right to whip out our phones and film someone. But it's also kind of a harassing asshole thing to do. There were reports that the individual, everyone involved is, still not been here, says everyone involved is trash, really. No one has my sympathy in this story at all. Rusty River says, seems like a movie script to me, only available on Netflix. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to agree with you, still not banned here. Yes, everyone involved is trash, but everyone involved is also correct. Now, again, I don't agree with her using the word necessarily, but she's free to use the word. She has a First Amendment right to use the word. The other dude has a First Amendment right to whip out his camera. I did hear reports that the guy was a pedophile. I also saw where the local ABC news station had changed their reporting to say he wasn't charged, or the charges had been dropped. So again, this is one of those situations. Is this the media protecting their own? Is this a DA protecting, child touchers? Or is this guy innocent of this? What the hell was he doing at the park? Is he somehow related to this alleged 5-year-old kid? I don't know. But yeah, honestly, I do think everyone's an asshole here, but also I think everyone here had a little bit of a right to be an asshole. A little bit. But as with any time you pull the asshole move, it can get taken too far. And it got taken to the internet, and the internet has taken it even further to where now it's become a racial one-upsmanship between the black delegation of the internet and the white delegation of the internet. Or when I say black delegation of the internet, let me change that. The black plus white guilt delegation of the internet. Because yes, there are plenty of white people who feel the need to announce from the rooftops how scummy this woman is and how she deserves everything that's happening to her, and that she should have to forfeit the money and go to prison and all kinds of stuff. I mean, for a word, y'all, for a word, for one word. Now, I understand it's one of the worst, most hateful words that has ever existed in the history of words in the United States. But it's still a word. She didn't kill nobody. She didn't rob nobody. Nobody's starving to death because she said a word. So here's the child. Here's the child at question. Now, they're saying this child is a 5-year-old autistic kid. Now, there's some question on whether or not this child looks 5 years old. Looks more like, 8, 9, 10 to a lot of people. Make of it what you will. I'm not making any claims here. Although, you can see over here, here's a link I posted down in the comments of this. There's a link to another tweet talking about how, autism, this claim that the child is autism, and then, of course, you had the Somali guy filming. If they are related, we had this whole Somali autism welfare scam going on where a lot of kids were being overdiagnosed because they were getting more aid funding for it. So make of it what you will. All I'm saying is, I going back, I agree. I agree with Clint Russell that we've got to start breaking free of these fucking divide and conquer narratives. I mean, I've seen Bryson Gray, which granted, he's a cocky bastard. I think he's got a fucking attitude. I don't like half the shit he puts out. But he's a conservative. He's a pro-Trump conservative. He's a quote-unquote Christian conservative. I like some of the stuff he does, but I've noticed how cocky he can be about certain shit. And definitely there are a lot of things about this case I think he has wrong. But ultimately, like in his comments, is people just straight up calling him the word.
You call him a nigger, the child?
You know what I mean? That word. All right. Let's move on to the next story. Actually, hang on real quick. Let me blow my schnoz real quick. So one of the things that conservatives have been divided on is feminism. And we've had two videos that have went viral in the past week that kind of talk about the difference between a trad stay-at-home wife and a career woman in the conservative movement. Actually, the first one's probably not about conservatives, so we'll just play it real quick, and then we'll jump into the second one. But let's go ahead and cover this debate here. So we had this go viral. Apparently, from what I understand, this was a response video to a dude who had posted a similar one of like fatherhood versus, being able to buy a PlayStation and all kinds of geek stuff, which is kind of dumb, but anyway. So here's this one. Here's the two versions of a woman in her 30s.
I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
So we're supposed to believe that the woman with diapers and a car seat is somehow jealous of the thought carrying around the Chanel bags. And of course, in the comments, several people were, showing a woman in her 60s. So, this is at 30, but at 60, you got, like a woman surrounded by her family versus a cat lady who's dying alone. Here, let me actually show this. This is one of them. Got the Chanel bag. Gotta love AI. Isn't that the same chick a year later? I think it's just the same chick, not even a year later. I think it's like 5 minutes later after she went to her car and changed clothes. I mean, it's just a TikTok. I don't think it's real life. Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess I found the one about men. Here's the one about men.
Tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Still Not Banned here says that, yeah, I mean, you could be both. I mean, you could be both. And that's the thing. I mean, I think that the argument being made is more money than time. But then you have this argument about time too. And effort and attention and your self-worth. So let's do this. Let's get into this debate.
But I hate to call out my own party, but the young girls on the right promoting this like trad wife bullshit. I just want to make sourdough for my husband. That's great. I'm all for it. I promote traditional values. I understand. I have been working since I was very young. I don't really plan on stopping working. I suggest you find a hobby that makes you money. But you guys, guess what? Guess what, baby girl? That lifestyle working out, a man, a provider, you just get to sit at home, bake bread every day. Slim to none. I would say none that's going to work out for you or quite literally anyone you know. You're actually setting yourself up for failure because it could not be easier, if that's what you're going to pursue, to be trapped by a man.
Trapped by a man. Trapped. Because yes, that's exactly what rings are. They're just giant bear traps waiting to snatch you up and drag you in. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We all want to trap you. We want to enslave you. We want to chain you to the fucking stove. Come on, seriously? I mean, literally, if what a woman's talking about is bragging about how in her spare time she had enough time to make her dude some sourdough, and this is your take? This is your take. Now, granted, I do want to sort of caveat that with, yeah, a lot of these trad wife influencers, quote unquote, are just the same kind of Instagram thought that I'm about to call you. Still Not Banned here says, yeah, no middle ground on social media. Rusty River says, give me that sweatpants wearing mama over the superficial brat any day. Yeah. I agree. I mean, let's be honest. Emily Saves America. You're wearing quite a decent monetary amount of makeup in this video that you totally impromptu decided to film in your fucking car. And obviously, you know, I've seen some of the other stuff Emily Saves America puts out. Let's face it, if it wasn't for your genetics, we'll say, if it wasn't for your genetics and your ability to purchase quality products in makeup, you wouldn't have a fucking career. So this idea of telling other women, hey, we got Coffee Crew Mocha. By the way, I owe Rusty Rivers, Sanglant, and Coffee Crew Mocha. I owe all of y'all sound effects. So cheers and welcome. Let me go ahead and do that as I finish my rant here. Oh, dear Lord, the pop-up ads on my soundboard here. Let's do, okay, why don't we do, let's see, for Sanglant, let's do the out. Gestapo out.
Out! Out! Gestapo is not allowed here. Immediately, Gestapo is not allowed.
And then let's do, Rusty Rivers, let's do the Christ is Lord.
Shut the fuck up! Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord!
And then we'll give Coffee Crew Mocha the old Russian anthem here. All right. So anyway, as I was saying, yeah, your makeup and your genetics has made your career. I mean, I'm not saying you haven't done some hard work. I would never make that claim about women in the online space, influencers, etc. I'm not saying you don't do work, you don't do hard work, but what I am saying is those things separate you from the average woman who is right now either trying to go through high school or college and who's looking to information from the internet and older women to tell her what the, you know, right path forward is. Now, granted, hopefully she's talking to her grandparents and not like a single mom or people like you. Hopefully she's talking to her grandparents, people who have generational. Still Not Banned here says, what anthem is that? I don't know. It just said Toad Russian anthem or Soviet anthem. Toad Soviet anthem. We got Shut Up I Can Cook. Cheers and welcome. Let's give her the you people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Cheers and welcome. Cheers and welcome. Guess so, you know, just like I'm not going to follow the dating advice and the career advice of Andrew Tate. I'll never be Andrew Tate. I'll never have the money of Andrew Tate. I'll never be as jacked as Andrew Tate. I don't want to be Andrew Tate. Let me throw that out there. Gentlemen, like, You can listen to Andrew Tate, but do not make him your role model. 90% of us will not achieve what Andrew Tate is. And even if we did, it would turn us into something most of us wouldn't want to be. We don't want to be Andrew Tate. It's a social media persona. Same with this chick. It's a social media persona. I'm not saying there's not genuine stuff within the persona, but it's not something for the average American to strive to achieve. Cookie says I banned her. Okay, well, get the fuck out then. If I banned you, get the fuck out. All right, let's go ahead and finish this up.
Okay. Also, let's bring some other things to the table besides sourdough. Guys want to be mentally stimulated as well as physically.
Yeah, you bring some other things to the table. Yeah, like BJ's, and yeah, get involved in our politics. Support us in our endeavors.
Okay, but I'm just like, please, you guys are too young to be promoting this, and also.
And here's the thing. Now, granted, when I say support us in our endeavors, yeah, that should be a two-way street. But make sure that your endeavors aren't like a Kardashian blog, right? I can't, as a guy, I can't get behind you and help you fucking admin a blog about whatever fucking fashion was on the Kardashian TV show. Like, yes, there's give and take, but there has to be a line drawn somewhere. I'm not asking you to get involved in my video gaming, but maybe, some political overlap, some career overlap, some hobby overlap. But I get it. Yeah, this idea that, mentally stimulated. Yes, I would agree with all of those things. But let's be honest. This difference between a career woman and a trad wife, a lot of it's superficial because at the end of the day, you still have advertisers to answer to. You still have daddy TikTok to answer to. And if you don't treat daddy TikTok right, a divorce might happen. So saying that a husband is a trap. Rusty Rivers says he could get behind her. And Shut Up I Can Cook says, yeah, nobody wants this chick but for a few minutes. And then Coffee Crew Mocha says, stop being fake and be normal. Yeah, that's sort of my one of my other mottos here.
By the way, it's cringe. You guys hate to call out my own part.
You guys are cringe. Okay. I think some of it's cringe because I honestly don't see a huge difference between those trad wife influencers and what this chick was doing, because essentially it's look pretty on the internet, say thing people will agree with, get likes, get in the algorithm, make money. I mean, that it is what it is. Anyway, so we've got this post from GameStop, sort of the last story before we jump over to our Saturday tradition here. And then I'll clear up any confusion anybody may have about the new schedule, by the way, one more time. Let's see, Neurodivergent one. First, Shut Up I Can Cook says Rusty is a hoe. Neurodivergent one says, make sure you hit that follow and smash that thumbs up, peeps. Yes, please do that for me. Let's see. Rusty Rivers thinks he could fix her. Coffee Crew Mocha says 100%. Still Not Banned Here says, yeah, it's also kind of a non-issue as most people don't even have the choice between either. Yeah. Yes, hello, and cheers and welcome to Neurodivergent one. Yeah, by the way. You're going to get the wrong tone.
You're talking to my guy all wrong. It's the wrong tone. Do it again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
Okay, so we got, now we got Demon's Wrath in the chat as well. Man, cheers. You get to take the hobbits to Isengard.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Cheers and welcome. All right. So yeah, we had this tweet from GameStop that was an update from Microsoft. As of May 1st, we've adjusted recommended retail prices for consoles and controllers worldwide. We also expected to adjust the price of some of our first-party games starting this holiday season to $80. We understand these changes are challenging. They're made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play more games across any screen and ensuring value for Xbox players. And then here you have the price of all Xbox equipment going up as of yesterday. Or actually, that would have been Thursday. So yes, GameStop's going to be selling Microsoft products for more expensive. Demons also has a micro, says shut up I can cook, and wants me to stop censoring, and says y'all caught me. Yeah. So yeah, obviously you have people all over Twitter claiming that the price increase is somehow because of Donald Trump, and again, prove it. I mean, Microsoft's allegedly an American company. I mean, granted, yes, the chips, the stuff, some of that's got to be imported. We still don't have a full picture of what the tariff situation is going to look like. So anybody announcing price increases now, we've been seeing all these things about was it Shane and what's it called, the Temu adding extra fees in and shit. It's all a bunch of bullshit. It's going to take a little bit more time for most of that shit to hit. All right. So let me do this. Let's go back to X. Let's bring up that schedule one more time for you folks, just to kind of recap. Now that more people have come into the chat, I just wanted to make sure more people saw this. Open image in new tab. All right. Never had a dude play games while he was my guy. Okay, well, sure. But we're talking about price increases. That's sort of, yeah. Coffee Crew says, yeah, they just want to increase their take in. Of course. All right, so let's go to the new schedule. If you hadn't heard, at the beginning of the show, I kind of announced that there were some issues with myself and Rumble the past month where, yeah, I need to kind of figure out a better way to promote my channel and a better way to align my live streams. And I figured the best way to do that is combine the Wednesday show and the Saturday show into one Friday show. So yes, as of Monday, I'm going to be having a new schedule for my live streaming over on my gaming channel. Monday and Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Going to be playing Baldur's Gate. Every other Sunday, going to be doing my Patriot Philosopher stream behind the Rumble paywall, 6 to 9 Central. And then every Friday, 6 to 9 Central, right here, same bat time, same bat channel. Going to be doing the 3-hour culture plate every Friday. So instead of being here on Wednesday and Saturday, just going to be Friday, going to be twice as long. And yeah, we'll be doing the show then. Again, if I'm losing my audience here because of that, let me know. Let me know if there's a better way. Let me know like which night of the week works better for you. Because quite frankly, that's the issue. I need as many viewers as I can get. And again, you can help that by clicking that thumbs up button, making sure you follow, making sure you have those notifications on, and all that good stuff, and watch me whenever I'm on. I would really appreciate that, but I couldn't just sit and do nothing. I have to get those views up if I can. All right, so let's go to Cookie's favorite part of the program. Every Saturday, well, until now, this is going to be the last time on Saturday we'll be doing the Love Does Admonish segment. We'll be doing it on Fridays from now on. The format of the show will change just a little bit to break up the 3 hours. see. Coffee cream mocha. I think they're killing the system anyway. Sounds like they're going full marketplace and trying to replace Steam. Yep. I agree with that. And then Coffee cream mocha says, Yeah, Coffee cream mocha says, Sanglant Steam has rooted. Gamers should know value, but they got suckered by microtransactions. And then Sanglant says DLC. All right. So, yeah, we're going to do the Love Does Admonish segment where, they talk about unique relationships and we get to determine whether or not there's reasons to judge these people over on the Love Don't Judge YouTube channel. And so, yeah, we like to determine whether or not these people deserve a little bit of judgment. And so let's get into the one from today, or not today, but this was, 10 months ago? But let's get into it. This is, I'm a feminine man, but I'm not gay. Love Don't Judge.
I'm Tiante, and people say I'm too feminine to date women. The typical way of dating is masculine man and a feminine woman. The comments that people make is that my sexuality isn't real. I'm not a real man. This is unreal. He's wearing makeup. He might as well get a boyfriend. I'm going to my first blind date ever.
Uh-oh.
No. You lying. Yeah. I'm kind of nervous to see if she likes feminine guys or not. It is getting kind of late. She was supposed to be here at like 4.
Demon's Wrath is immediately wood chipper. I don't think he's a pedo.
Something.
I could be wrong.
My name is Tiante. I am 23. I am an influencer. I'm a recording artist. And I'm just overall that guy.
A
People think I'm gay
artist.
because I'm more feminine.
Cookie, would you date this guy? I mean, shit. He's not ugly, right?
Than masculine. This right here is just moisturizer. I already pre-washed my face with my cleanser. And I gotta do some shaving.
You see how leathery my face is? I think I put moisturizer on my face maybe twice. And not even moisturizer, just hand lotion. Just because, shit was dry. He's an influencer. That's reason enough for a wood chipping. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Rusty River says, what type of woman would date this dude? Well, I mean, I guess we'll find out. He's going on a blind date.
And stuff because I grow.
Hope she's really blind.
So I don't wear makeup on my skin. Like I don't do foundation.
I don't wear makeup.
The only thing I would really do is eyebrows. That's it. Just filling me in. I'll do a selfie check to make sure all of the moisturizer is blended in. We gotta have a little glow. When I first got on TikTok, the content I was making, it was on the more funny side. But after a while, it kind of got washed out. And that's when I got more into my looks more. I was just getting into dating as well. And I was like, okay, let me post that I have a girlfriend. It got like 5 million likes.
Me post that I have a girlfriend, even though you...
All because I said I have a girlfriend. And everybody's shocked that I have a girlfriend. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, I thought this was normal. Until it wasn't. All of these people started reaching out to me. People wanted to interview me. The comments were going crazy. It was just crazy. She did get a lot of hate. They was like, oh my God, why you dating a feminine guy? And all of the masculine guys were
what happened to her? If you're going on blind dates
you're a disgrace to society.
Yeah, you know what? Sanglant says, he seems like Eddie Murphy did something similar in a stand-up act. Yeah, kind of. Cookie says this is offensive, the cause of the 19th Amendment. And yeah, Coffee Crew Mocha, I think you're onto something here. Effeminate male, another word for metrosexual or less than beta. You know what? You're opening my eyes, man. Because maybe I shouldn't be clowning this guy. Because think about it. We have a chance to say, look, it's okay to be a fruity kind of dude without cutting your junk off, without going full on fucking alphabet mafia, fucking waving rainbows and pronouns at everybody. I think, without using the whole trying to get laid with women influencers meme, I think if we send Cookie over there, we could save this dude. I think we could save this dude.
I'm going on a blind date today, and I'm kind of nervous to see if she likes feminine guys or not. I would describe my style as very much feminine energy and masculine energy. I like to dive into both. What can I wear today? Since it's two shiny things right here.
We need someone with a big booty to just fix him. I'm telling you. Put him in the gym, get him lifting. Turn this dude into DMX.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear these jorts and this
Short
bedazzled belt. I'll probably wear these shoes I have on or these. I feel like it's too hot for boots, but it's never too hot for these kind though. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wear this. A lot of people question my last relationship, my last long-term relationship.
Because, oh God, yeah, you're probably. Oh man, and Cookie says repeal the 19th.
Because obviously I'm not a masculine guy, and the typical way of dating around the world is masculine man and a feminine woman, and that's how it's gotta be. When that isn't how it has to be. I'm not normal. I don't want to be normal. Normal is not me, and I'm not normal. I'm going on a blind date today. Yes, a blind date. Y'all gotta pray for me. The comments that people make about my sexuality is that my sexuality isn't real. My sexuality isn't important. People say I'm not a real man. All because I'm feminine and I date girls. Like, it shouldn't be like that. I'm still a real man regardless. Like, you can't invalidate my manhood just because I'm feminine. This comment says a woman will not date you, LOL. A woman has dated me, LOL. Somebody said he seemed curious.
No, like he needs to go on a date with just pearly things. I mean, she's into black dudes anyway. Like if he went on a date with just pearly things. Now, she doesn't have much of a booty, but still. Like if he goes on a date with just pearly things, like they would make a great couple. Am I wrong?
Yes. I mean, I understand y'all saying he's attracted to women, but he's feminine. This is unreal. He's wearing makeup. He's wearing high tank top shirts. He might as well get a boyfriend.
Demon's Wrath says, wait, Cookie, come back. You need to fix this guy. And we got Squishy Hunter in the chat over on Rumble saying that is not a real man. I mean, again, depends on your definition of real. And let's do this. Let's do, what do we got? Let's do some police. No, I'm gonna give you. Let me give Squishy Hunter the "Now You a Single Mom" sound.
You let him hit it raw. You didn't have second thoughts. Now you a single mom. Now you a single mom. You said I'm a haddish kid. Don't care.
Cheers and welcome. I just stabbed my lip with my straw. All right.
This one says, you straight? And someone replied to him, no, he just like to pretend he is, LOL, my boy is gay as F. And somebody else responded, son is lost. That's what he is.
Son is lost.
This one says, slay for real, FR. I appreciate that, y'all. Early on, the comments will get to me.
Real FR, which
be
means
like, is this
real.
who I really am? And
later
on, I really had to figure out this is who I am. Like, and I can't change it. I used to respond a lot, but now I don't. My mom taught me that. She was like, don't respond to those people. Like, they're just trolls. They're internet people. Like, at this point, it doesn't make me feel any type of way. I just see the comment and that's it. I'm numb to it. I invited my aunt over today so me and her can chat about me going on my blind date today.
Auntie.
She's probably going to give me some pointers or something. She supported me my whole life because she's been around me my whole life.
He just was different. And when you're different, people talk
Wait a minute. The auntie looks like the blurred out girlfriend from earlier. Am I wrong? Like the body type is almost identical.
About you. Not necessarily bullied, but just being judged. And you're basically being judged on who you are. And people don't understand who you are. They talk.
So, what do you think about my outfit for today?
Stand up.
I got my own style, so.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I am about your style.
The knees.
I don't got no knees.
Yeah. It's just you wouldn't wear it.
I'm just kidding. I'm currently wearing shorts.
I've always been a fan of stripe. I feel like high school for me was a breeze through 9th and 11th and 12th grade. But 10th grade, it was this one guy. I mean, he wasn't a bully. He just was very annoying.
People have their opinions. They form their opinions before they even know you or meet you. So it's kind of like high school too. Not necessarily to say you bullied, but you're being judged for who you are. It's okay if they don't understand, and it's okay if they just want to be at the end of the day. But you gotta get to know people before you judge them. And in that case, there's always gonna be people like that, even on the internet. It's like at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but sometimes it's better to be quiet.
Yeah. I don't comment back no more for real.
I don't
At the
come
end of the
back
day,
for real,
you
for
are who
real.
you are. You don't owe nobody no explanation. You have people that supposed to be close to you, but they talk about you. And it just, to me, it makes you go harder because that's just who you are. That's who you were born to be.
So I'm going to my first blind date ever.
I don't,
and
I don't, you know, granted, I was saying earlier about the Andrew Tate thing. Yeah, don't think you can make that radical of a change, but you know, this who you're born to be shit, I don't subscribe to that either. I think, look, those of y'all who've been following my channel for the past 2 years know that, like, I dropped 100 pounds. I swore I would never quit smoking. I swore I would be eating like pizza with 7 meat toppings, entire fucking pizza. I swore I would eat and smoke like that for the rest of my life. And I would never exercise. Fuck exercise. What do I need exercise for? I'm gonna die anyway. No, man, you can change that shit. Your mentality changes. You fuck, as you become mature, you become a better person. And this, yeah, you just be yourself. You don't need to be in. No. You can be unhappy with who you are and want to make some change. Now, don't get all crazy, but yeah, you can. Everybody can make some change.
We're meeting up at the studio today.
Oh, no. You lying.
Yeah. I'm kind of nervous, to be honest. I was like, let me try blind dating instead of regular dating.
That's really good. Like, I think, and then it'll bring you out of your shell more.
I'm not dating anyone right now at the moment, but I'm open to dating. And I'm kind of scared because I don't know what to expect because I haven't dated in such a long time. What I look for in a partner is great qualities like strong communicator, a person that likes to love and gets loved on. I like somebody to match my fly, a beautiful woman, strong, confident, that knows how to hold her own.
Okay, we got about another minute and a half.
It is getting kind of late, and she was supposed to be here at like 4 something.
Bro got stood up. Oh no.
I just got a text from her right now. She said she not gonna be able to make it because of the weather. But you know what? It's cool.
It's raining, man.
More dates will come.
Hallelujah.
I'm kind of disappointed that my blind date didn't show up today, but I'm still more than happy to be at the studio working on my music because we got to get this single out. I'm about to record the first to my.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and just stop this right there. I'm gonna give Cookie a little reprieve. We're gonna stop this right there because he's just gonna sing, and then they're gonna do the recap, and yeah, then it's gonna be over. See. And I don't think I need to hear this guy's music. He's obviously going to be like a Lil Nas X. But what I want to do, I want to look at the auntie one more time. Where I got to see her body type again because I'm calling sus. Let's see, where's got the auntie, and then you got the old girlfriend. I don't know. The auntie's got a bigger booty. All right. Yeah, it's not the same chick. All right. I'll give him a pass.
Record the first verse to my song It's a Vibe. Riding in the Chevy and I'm fine. It's the a lot of when the they hurt this
Red up in my greasy.
Wait a minute. What? His music is actually a little masculine.
But I'm big skin like caramel, butter down. They wanna leave. Yo, shorty.
Yeah, he's probably doing a show just for music. Think me and this alpha male go to the same stylist? I got stood up better sucking D now. Oh yes. All right. Let's see.
The people that judge, they don't know who they are. Everyone is different. So
I said I was gonna
just let everyone date who they want to date. Dating is a spectrum. There are different people out there. Everyone deserves love.
Dating is a spectrum and everyone deserves love. Okay, you're done, dude. I'm cutting you off there. No, not everyone deserves love. Sorry. Someone deserves admonishment, and that is you. Anyway, thank you for watching Love Does Admonish, and thank you for coming to Miles Culture Plate. Again, I will be back Monday over on my gaming channel. Links down in the description. Please click that thumbs up button, and please hit that share this off platform. Watch a second video. If you're new here, very important, click that follow button and click that notifications icon. And again, if you're new to Rumble, feel free to sign up for Rumble Premium down in the button below. That definitely helps out the channel as well. Admonish with a rope. Coffee Crew Mocha says, we're not judging you, you're judging yourself, bud. Which is important. You should be your own worst critic. Like, don't get full on depression mode. Don't get me wrong. But you should be your own worst critic. You know what your flaws are. You know what you could work on. Don't get full on, what do they call it, body dysmorphia, to where you want to start cutting limbs off and having surgeries and shit. But, just know that you can be the best you can be. And, of course, now my sinuses are about to explode before I can end the show, so hang on. Oh, damn. All right, so yes, do all the things. The list of people who showed up tonight, a very long list. Thank you all for coming. I wish I could name you all off one at a time, but my brain's not that good, and neither is my speed at working the scroll here. But you know who you are. You've seen all the names being listed. You all got your sound effects played and your toasts. Cheers, cheers, cheers. And as always, cheers to all the people watching later on demand, or who are lurking or listening audio only because you're too busy working or something. Cheers to all of y'all. Please feel free to leave a comment down in the chat. Let me know what you think about any of the topics we covered tonight, or let me know what you think about my new schedule. I'm always looking for feedback because I'm a people pleaser. I want to, like I said, I want to do whatever it takes to get the views, other than showing off my nipples or whatever. All right, so yes, until next time, which be next Friday, 6 p.m. Central, right here on Miles Culture Plate, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll catch you then. Till then, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, outlast those haters, don't get any on you, and if you do, rub that shit in real good. I'm gonna bring up my slideshow of my AI while I go find someone to raid. If you want to hang out for the raid, feel free to hang out. But if you don't, see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast the haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend. Oh shit, Cool Frog's still alive. I could raid him. I think I'm gonna raid Cool Frog. Yeah, I think everyone else is on my feeds got a 24/7 gaming thing or 24/7